Piratesoftware. Oof, it feels like we haven't heard about this guy in a while. I wonder why.
You probably didn't see arguably the biggest spectacle of self-sabotage and meltdown of someone's career on the internet. Like, I'm talking the biggest whiff I've ever seen. Like,
the videos about Piratesoftware, this entire arc was the best thing I've ever seen on the internet in a long time now. Just everyone clowning on this dude was absolutely hilarious, and so many videos came out of it, especially the Meat Canyon one, which was, oh my god, if you haven't watched it, just go do that right now. It was fantastic.
Worse than Summit 1G's Molotov incident. Worse than losing Midwinter Mirage with an AWP because you couldn't stop shaking like a grandma with Parkinson's.
Classic. Oof.
Bit of a long comparison there, but this situation cannot be underestimated. Especially with the fact it could have all been solved or at least minimized by the uttering of 2 words. But anyway, if you don't know, I'm talking about the situation with Piratesoftware or Jason Thor Hall. Someone that initially grew in popularity around 2022 due to his success on platforms like YouTube Shorts.
It was crazy. I've never seen a channel grow this big from shorts. That was insane. That actually made me do some shorts, but my shorts suck and nobody watched them. So he clearly cracked the algorithm. That was crazy because his regular videos get almost no views whatsoever. Even before the downfall, they got no views. But the shorts, man, they popped off. He cracked the code for sure. I mean, you gotta give him credit where credit's due.
Something that genuinely perplexed people at the time due to how aggressively YouTube was serving up his content. Like, even I was affected when I did use YouTube Shorts. But I've moved on to greener...
And some of them were good, to be honest. I mean, there's a reason they saw success. I know people like to look at this right now and say, oh, they weren't that great. But at the time, before the entire thing spiraled out of control, I mean, I watched some of his shorts because obviously they reached my feed, and some of them were great. I gotta be honest. Some of them were actually fine.
Ashes. I'm now enjoying my counterfeit lively content on Instagram Reels. But he gained a large audience partially due to these shorts, because not only could you learn things from them like hotkeys, I triple doggy donkey dare you to press Ctrl Alt Shift Windows T. I bet you won't, you little bitch. But he also encouraged you to do things like make games. From the perspective of someone that supposedly had years of experience from making his own games, and supposedly working in the industry at places like Blizzard. But he won't actually let you know that. He's very secretive about that fact.
When I worked at Blizzard, I did that for Blizzard. Blizzard, 7 years, yeah. Blizzard. I used to work at Blizzard Entertainment. Used to work at Blizzard Entertainment. Your red team specialist for Blizzard Entertainment. And Blizzard.
But he built...
Dude, that is literally the thing you should never take pride in. Working at the company that did so many wrongdoings for its coworkers, like its workers or employees, that is insane. If I ever worked at Blizzard, I would hide that shit for eternity. I would have never came out and said this. Definitely not online. That is humiliating. I have no idea why would anyone take pride in that. I mean, old Blizzard, 100%. New Blizzard, which is when he came to the company, hell no. Hell no.
His platform from there. Most people liked his character, and he genuinely inspired people to start making their own games. You can't take that away from him. But not only were people watching his shorts, the
I think it's too loud.
success also linked onto his long-form content, and then later his streaming career, where he would usually average upwards of 10,000 viewers per stream, and even winning the Best Software and Game Development Streamer Award in 2023.
Dude, this entire event is super sold out. Nobody cares. This is so rigged. Anyone knows that. Truly anyone knows that. It's literally dumb streamers giving themselves award. That is insanely bad. And I mean, it's not like the thing is Twitch thing. Who cares? It's the same. It's the same crowd, same people. It's so boring and predictable. Never really watched that.
And his popularity only grew from there. You could say at this point Piratesoftware was at the tippity top of his career, before it all seemingly went so very, very wrong. And he went from one of the most liked influencers to one of the most hated in a short amount of time, primarily due to his own ego, and the fact he will vehemently defend any hill he chooses to die on, commonly spreading the red.
And I mean, you can do this correctly, but the hill he chose to die on was so goddamn bad. Like, why in God's name? I guess, well, we're gonna talk about it in the video, but this was bad. Brother, this was bad.
That everyone else is the problem and not him, even if without a doubt he has been proven to be wrong.
I'll admit when I'm wrong, when I feel that I'm wrong. But if I don't feel that I'm wrong and you do, that doesn't mean I owe you an apology.
That is the most condescending thing you can ever say. What? Oh my god, I can't even begin to process that. That mindset is actually the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I'll admit that I'm wrong when I feel like I'm wrong. Brother, oh my god. Holy, that is so condescending.
Right? Just because you're upset doesn't mean I owe you an apology. And that's something that a lot of people don't seem to understand on the internet.
This has led people to call him arrogant, to a liar, to a narcissist, to even a lolcow at this point. And just all around,
100%.
people no longer trust the words that come out of his mouth. And what makes it worse is even if he still went down this path of never admitting he was wrong, I think he would have probably gotten away with it and have been probably fine if he just didn't respond to the people criticizing him the way he did. Because as a content creator with the backlash, he had 3 choices he could have made.
Yep.
He could have sincerely apologized, which, to be fair,
He could have taken the path to the W, and it took the largest L on site. That is actually admirable. I gotta say that, for sure. I mean, all you need to do is say, hey, I was wrong, and I apologize. And people will blow this over. Like, nobody really cares that much. But the fact that he kept this ball rolling for this long, it just grew bigger and bigger, man. It was insane. It was the craziest spiral I have ever seen.
with Piratesoftware, you would have a better chance of betting your entire life savings on green at a roulette table and winning. Or you could take the chaotic neutral approach and just ignore everything, don't speak about it, and hopefully it will all eventually blow over.
This is what he does
It won't
now.
entirely blow over, but the less you feed a fire, the less fuel it has. Then we have arguably the worst option, which Piratesoftware chose, which is responding to most of your critics directly, affirming you are right and they are wrong.
He's fanning the flames. Oh, man. You love to see it. You love to see it.
Essentially doubling down and
And you know what? It's so funny because most people do take the road of just shutting the hell up and letting this blow over, which I understand because their ego is too inflated, they can't apologize, but at least they have the common decency to shut the hell up. So at least you have that. But with Piratesoftware, he believes so strongly that he's in the right and everyone else is wrong, and that's exactly why he chose to respond. And that just led to more and more L's. This dude is collecting L's like Infinity Stones. I've never seen anything like it.
some cases tripling down, even when in some cases it has been proven you were in the wrong, and refusing to communicate and banning or blocking anyone that has a different opinion to you or is criticizing you.
Good.
In one instance, saying content creators giving their takes on this are being reported to Twitch for fueling the harassment, but in general just actively responding to criticism in a hostile way just keeps fueling the fire and gives people more of a reason to troll you. I think at one point he even had a ban counter on his live stream, showing the amount of people that had been banned in that stream alone.
What a baby. Oh my god, you have a ban counter? That... What in God's name? Bro, how insecure can you be to actually put a ban counter? You really think that deters anyone from trolling you? Dude, it does the exact opposite. People want to add more to this number. It actually has the complete opposite effect of what you want it to have. What do you think? You sound like Terminator? Brother, please grow up.
In some cases for just mentioning the events that were happening around him. And someone also speedran being banned in his chat. I think if he didn't do things this way, the drama would have come and went, and he would have had an infinitely easier path to redeem his online career. But some people did take it too far, to be honest. Allegedly doxing him, sending death threats, and some even made fun of one of his ferrets dying.
This is the disgusting part of the internet where people don't know how to just disconnect the parasocial relationship you have with someone. It can be love or hate, doesn't really matter. But dude, like sending like these threats to anyone is disgusting. And I condemn that in any way possible. Like even if you don't like someone, just literally give them a dislike on a video and leave. You can even leave a comment, right? But don't leave these type of threats. This is unacceptable at any shape or form. This is disgusting.
However, his reputation didn't just free fall overnight. There were multiple footnotes that led up to this. First, it started with the World of Warcraft situation, which happened in January of 2025. Yes, for those smart asses out there, if we went chronologically, it would be the Stop Killing Games situation.
Yep.
But at the time when he made that initial comment about that movement, nobody really had a problem with it or even questioned it. And if they did, they wouldn't be noticed, as the vast majority did not have any reason yet to doubt Pirate Software.
Exactly. The entire domino effect started with the World of Warcraft thing, because it started here and then people started to look back. So it actually worked in a very funny way. So people just let him get away with a ton of stuff because they actually liked him. And this is something that is very common and happens a lot. But when his downfall started, the entire thing just came back to bite him in the ass. So that was what happened here, which is, you know, phenomenal, right? It always catches up to you.
It was only after things like the WoW drama
Very
and the
poetic.
responses from Ross from Stop Killing Games and Moist Critical that people started to genuinely question Pirate Software and his overall character. But anyway, fuck you. Classic World of Warcraft, that game where that one guy defecated in his pants playing the game.
No way, no way. Oh my, dude.
Oh, God damn
No
it.
way.
I forgot to make a health stone.
Back in early 2025, Classic WoW was mainly popping off in the streaming space again, down to a content creation guild called OnlyFans, comprised of many other streamers and content creators, and they were doing hardcore Classic WoW, where if you die,
Hey,
you have
bold.
to start all over again
It's
from
him.
level 1. And it takes a while to get back to the goal of max level, where the game actually starts. And Pirate Software was a part of the aforementioned content guild, and claimed to be a proficient mage on top of allegedly having experience working.
No, he meant mage in real life. Like, that's what he meant. Like, he cast spell and stuff. He cast cringe on top of all of you. Enjoy that. That's what he meant. Like, clearly in the game, he had no idea what to do.
On the game when he worked at
Bro
Blizzard.
didn't-
However,
only
when a
blinked
group
away.
of OnlyFans members were doing a dungeon and liquid feces hit the fan, and the team pulled a mob they shouldn't have, and the party could not handle the spit roast gangbang that was about to happen, the call
Yep.
was made to retreat and to exit the dungeon. And Pirate Software proceeds to haul ass towards the exit, not really helping his team when they tried to recover, and wasting his mana along the way, and then complaining he had no mana to help when his teammate called him out. And it was also alleged
So he's not gonna show the full clip, I guess, to save time. I watched the entire thing unfold, and I can tell you this. His teammates were to blame for the pull. This was, like, a really bad pull, admittedly. That being said, he could have at least tried saving them, but instead he chose to save himself and just blinked away, used spells just to waste mana. Like, I don't know why. He could have definitely saved them. Maybe it would have costed him his life, but at least he could have kept his friend safe. But, of course, his ego would never let him die in a hardcore mode. So, yeah, he just ended up blinking away and roaching out the Roach King.
he had items that would restore his mana so he could help. He then left the dungeon ahead of others, 2 people died, and members of the team expressed their frustration towards Pirate, at which when confronted he left the call, something
Yeah.
he would do again later on, when they all came together with
Oh, he's not even gonna show like the entire clip. So again, like I'm just gonna say this real quick in case you haven't watched. His friend confronted him, just told him like, "Hey man, why didn't you try?" And all Pirate Software told him, I believe it was, "Next time you roll a mage," and then he just left the conversation. That was, dude, that was lame tier behavior.
the group leader to kind of sort it out, and when the other guys had their time to speak, he just left.
Is what makes us so mad, pirates.
There's no
You see
zero
the point?
accountability, dude. Everyone can do something
No, you-
better. But when you open
Brother, you can't really see this, but behind me there's Tyler 1, and if he's the mediator for anything, you know, shit's about to go down. Like, this is not good.
up
No,
and you
you-
yell over
no,
another
listen,
person
can
like
I
you were doing
speak?
earlier? Nah, I'm good.
You joined the call? See, like, he's so egoistically...
People also began looking at previous gameplay where he apparently did the same thing, on top of being a dick to other less experienced players like the streamer Lakari. In the Aftermath, people assigned him the name Roach because he roached out the dungeon, and he also proceeded to ban anyone in his Twitch chat discussing the event. He made a statement saying everyone misplayed, not just him, and he was receiving a bunch of harassment for this. He later insinuated anyone
Then why do you ban people that claim otherwise? Like, that just makes your statement even more false. Like, why... If you're so confident that you're in the right, why are you banning anyone who claims that you're wrong? That is the most major red flag and indicator that you actually lie. And you also clearly know that you're lying, because why would you ban them? If you had solid answer and responses, you would have just said so. But clearly you banning people is just making it shows that you know that you lie. So it's a super lame behavior, again. And everything could have been fixed with one simple apology. Yeah, I messed up, I roached out, like, I'm sorry, and that is it. People will literally forget this after like 3 days. But no.
Trolling him through the in-game message system may potentially get banned because he has connections from his time at Blizzard. He called out other content creators for calling him out, saying they were cannibalizing him for content and that he was documenting the people doing it.
Okay, to be fair, they did do that. I'm doing it right now. Everyone's doing it, man. Everyone milked the situation. To be fair, he is right about that.
And reports were being made to Twitch. He started to delete and alter his clips so popular pages like Livestream Fails couldn't criticize him. He then got kicked by the content creator guild OnlyFans, of which he responded to very poorly as well, speaking bad about the guild, which just added more fuel to the fire at this point.
Because they want it to be a double down, a triple down, a quadruple down. They want to have a villain. They want to have an enemy. They want to fight that shit into the ground. They want to send death threats to people over it.
Dude, who
because
speaks
they're
like
goddamn
that?
insane. Because this guild has turned into a content guild built on hate, not a content guild built on experiences.
What?
Because they're freaking monsters, dude.
Hot off.
Dude, you're really trying to flip the script here? That's not gonna work, Chief. People aren't that dumb. Okay?
The heels of that situation, a game developer made a meme saying they would implement pirate software in their game with sound effects and all.
Dude,
as
people
a
took it
roach,
like, oh my
of
God,
which
I
they
even voice
provided a
cracked.
video, but this was an offline build. It wasn't actually in the game. And when Pirate Software got wind of this, he DMCA'd the whole
PoE?
game, claiming he was actually in the game, of which he wasn't, meaning it was
What?
a fraudulent takedown. Pirate threatened them with further litigation when they countered the claim, even saying he was...
Dude, imagine what would happen if he just played it on stream. That would have made him so much money, probably, but also would gain a ton of trust from the viewers. Like, you could have literally played this game and, like, make it one big joke, and once again, people would have forgotten about this, but why? Why would you take it so to the extreme? It's actually insane.
going to sue them and they would lose.
So I filed a DMCA claim, and he has now filed a
They would lose what? Like the 2 dimes they earned off of Steam? What are gonna lose?
counterclaim against me. We're going to take you to court. You're going to lose. You cannot use somebody's likeness or voice in any way inside of your games without their permission.
A lawyer that caught wind of it defended the game dev and noticed the lawyer that Pirate was waving around called Kronos, who was also one of his mods, allegedly couldn't even represent Pirate because he was from the UK and there were questions if he even practiced law. And that's pretty much it for the WoW situation. It was one of the longest controversies, and I think personally the one that started the erosion of his reputation. Yes, it started over something that happened in a game, but it was more Pirate's reaction to criticism which made people more cautious of him, his character, and just overall questioning everything about him. And fucking hell did they question everything. As the next situation in the same month as the WoW drama in January 2025.
The puzzle game, I forgot the name. Oh, this was super cringed. I watched a 3-hour video about that. Oh my god, you're gonna love this one.
People started
this
looking
one's for
at
the
his
vultures, for
gameplay
sure.
of certain puzzle games like Outer Wilds and Animal Well. And despite being heavily against spoiling or needing guides to complete these games and getting assistance from his chat, some people theorized he was actually cheating, looking up guides on his phone every time he got stuck.
He was. So, and again, in case you don't know about anything about these games are almost impossible to solve on your own. I've never heard about a single person who has managed to solve this game on their own without missing anything. Like, that is literally impossible. This is a community game. So, personally, I played Outer Wild. I haven't played Animal Well. I haven't even heard about it until I saw the Pirate Software thing. I love Outer Wilds to death. Like, the story in Outer Wilds is actually insanely good, and the entire game just, you know, plays really well. The game is fantastic. I played it for, I think, around 5 to 6 hours, and then I just quit and watched a full YouTube guide for it. Now, the reason I did that is because I couldn't solve it on my own. I managed to find some stuff I found and I haven't understood them, and some things I just, you know, didn't find at all. It's a very complex game, and you're not supposed to find anything. This is a community game where you go to Reddit, and you go to forums, and you try to find the answers with other people, and you build a community. That's the beauty of them. This guy claimed to solve this in Animal Well, which is way more difficult than Outer Wilds, as far as I understand it, and it claimed to just solve it on his own. That was the wild thing here, for sure. And it's such a huge spit in the face and an insult to the Outer Wild and Animal Well community, and just in general to the puzzle game community, which I adore. So it is just so cringe to see someone to actually be able to just claim that they're like God and they figured everything out on their own. I wonder if it's going to show specific examples in this video, but you're gonna see it's hilarious. Like,
the main evidence being every time he did struggle a little, he would suddenly out of nowhere get the answer to the puzzle.
Yep.
Wait a minute. I think I just solved it.
And this included some puzzles where you would...
Wait a minute. Literally a blank planet with only water. Wait a minute. Dude, come on. Goes to the bathroom and come back with the answer. Sure.
Need knowledge beforehand,
Chief.
or would just really...
Oh, this is the video that I watched. He fully analyzed his gameplay. That was crazy. That was a really good video. If you have some time on your hands for the unemployed, go watch that. This is super funny.
Difficult, like in Animal Well, and sometimes he could be seen looking down at what people assumed was his phone. Now with this situation, in my opinion, I don't think it really mattered. If he did cheat, I guess he just ruined the game for himself just to make himself...
It does matter because you're disrespecting the intelligence of your audience, and you're also disrespecting the puzzle game community. That is an insult. This is 100% a problem. And I know some people may say like, oh, who cares? And I mean, sure. But personally, like, I feel like it's an insult. I love puzzle games. I suck at them sometimes. Sometimes I manage to do good, sometimes I'm not. Right now I'm playing Blueprints, which is super difficult as well, if you know this game. And claiming to, like, know all the answers is just a huge insult. Just a huge, huge insult to the intelligence of the people watching you.
Look smart, which if true is on the same level as saying you actually have a girlfriend, she just goes...
Yes, I have a GF. No, you don't know her. She goes to another school.
To another school, in a different country, in a completely different continent.
She exists.
Apart from that, I think this mainly gathered so much attention was due to it quite literally spawning after the other situation blew up. However, the next controversy to follow would very much set in stone that the tide was about to change for Pirate, because it was the Stop Killing Games debacle that occurred around June of 2025. Stop Killing Games is a movement where basically consumers actually own the games they buy, and in some capacity, if the game's owners or servers ever shut down, that game will still be somewhat functional, and people will still be able to play it because, you know, they bought that game, they should fully own it. But instead with games like The Crew, when their servers shut down, nobody could play it anymore. So this movement was created to put the ownership back into consumers' hands, and mainly surrounded the European version of it, and the spokesperson for it was Ross or Accused Farms. Pirate Software, when he heard about this movement before any drama surrounded him, basically liquid shat all over both Ross and the movement, making assumptions, misinterpreting the movement, and just overall speaking poorly about it.
It's
used
car salesman garbage. This is shit. It's shit. Not only do I not want to back this, I'm going to actively tell people not to.
However,
that is the wildest thing you could say, and I'll tell you why. Stop Killing Games initiative is all across the board agreed upon as a huge W. Straight up all across the board, nobody will ever denounce that. It is so crazy to me that you had the lowest hanging fruit possible. Like, literally say, stop killing games, good. And people will clap like seals, you get a ton of views, and all is good at the end of the day. Pirate Software, look at that, and man, he had to turn this W into the biggest L in humankind. That is insanity. That is peak, and he intentionally misinterpreted everything, or maybe just dumb, I'm not really sure. I mean, to reach this level is actually, you know, incomprehensible to me. But yeah, I mean, he just didn't understand anything. He didn't even want to talk with the guy that came up with this initiative, even though he wanted to just clear the air and explain things over to him in a very respectful manner. No, he refused. That is insane. Like, to me, I'm saying this word a lot, like holy, but you know, it's just so weird to me. Like, why? Why? It's such a low-hanging fruit. Take it. I'm doing it right now because I'm clowning on Pirate Software. This is the lowest hanging fruit ever. You take those. You take these W's. These are important. Do that.
Nothing really happened till after everything happened with things like the WoW drama. Ross responded basically correcting everything he said. Pirate heard this and in usual fashion, despite being proven wrong, stuck to his opinion and still spread misinformation and his own opinion on the movement. And refused to speak to Ross when he reached out or anyone trying to actually educate him on the subject of the movement. Then Moist Critical got involved, did his...
When Moist Critical gets involved, you know you're gone, dude. You're demolished. It's like the Thanos snap. You're out.
Video on the situation and it blew up even more. A lot more people were criticizing Pirate
and to be honest, I was made aware from the Moist Critical video because I watch a ton of his videos. So I was made aware of Pirate Software, like even existence, from this. Well, not existence, just from the entire situation. So this did really what kind of started the fuse.
And he still did not back down or admit he was in the wrong. But he did apologize to Ross for some of the words he used towards him. However, unironically, with all the attention this situation got, it quickly turned from Pirate Software killing the movement early game to actually saving it and it receiving all the signatures it needed with all the publicity.
Unironically, he managed to do good. This is funny. I mean, hey, you know what? At least something good came out of it.
Happening, and Pirate still to this day refuses to admit he was wrong about the movement. And at this point, the hate for Pirate had hit its peak. Even Meat Canyon did a video about him. And then what quickly followed was the controversy where people questioned if he was the seasoned game developer he claimed he was. People combed through.
At this point, people were trying to find him, like, in the nitty-gritty, man. People turned every stone to find some dirt on Pirate Software, and boy, there were a lot of stones to turn, but there was also a lot of dirt.
His work history not really finding anything to do with game development. Some assumed he was a Nepo baby because his father worked for Blizzard and was very influential there. Pirate himself did admit previously that when he was a teen, he did get a job due to nepotism, but that's the only time he admitted it.
My first job I got through nepotism, 100%. My dad worked at Blizzard for 23 years. He worked at Blizzard for 23 years, so I got a job there in 2004.
And people began...
Well, listen, I don't think that getting a job like through your relatives or familiars, anything like that, is like super bad. Everyone kind of does that. But you shouldn't really, you know, put yourself at such a high standard when you know how you got this job. And I mean, you can be good and be a Nepo baby, but if you're trash at what you're doing and you're a Nepo baby, that's the really bad combination.
Deconstructing the games he had made, like Heartbound. Specifically, people like Coding Jesus looked at his code and basically said this is not what you would expect from someone like Pirate Software with the credentials he has. Some noted...
No, he actually said that all the code that he had is something you would expect from a junior level, like, student. Like, that is literally what he said. He tore his code apart. And I didn't understand half of the video because it was, like, in code language, but basically, yeah, nothing is good about this game. It's super simplistic, and there are a ton of lines of code that shouldn't be there. like magic numbers and all that stuff. He explains it in a video. I can't really explain it because I'm not like a huge code guy, but it's actually funny.
It was unoptimized in places, which Pirate did respond to, saying it was so optimized it could run on a smart fridge, which was quickly disproven because the fridge was used more like a monitor, not the actual component running the game.
God.
And some criticized the fact that his game has taken years to come out and has been pushed back multiple times, and there have been straight up months without any updates, or updates that were severely lacking, and during that time he was playing games instead of working on said game. But that was where we were 3 months ago. Obviously that was the short version of most of the events. In my other video I go into more detail, but there are a plethora of other videos covering the same topic. And all of this could have been easily minimized if at any point he swallowed his ego and just uttered the words, "My bad." But he didn't and chose to go down with his ship that was his ego. And unfortunately, he has somewhat lost his platform because of that. But yeah, it's been 3 months.
Well, to be fair, he made a ton of money already. I mean, the best thing about having to blow up on YouTube is that you can collect so much doubloons in the meantime. You can just bank it and be good. But I mean, for him, it's not, I think, really about money. His father is like filthy rich as far as I understand it. But yeah, I mean, it just crazy to see that downfall. It's truly embarrassing.
And the internet has pretty much moved on from Pirate. But I just wanted to look at the aftermath of everything and go into what has been.
Hey, there's always piece of flesh left. The vultures will always come until there's nothing left.
Happening since.
I saw this woman breastfeeding her child in a non-optimal way, so being the kind man I am, I showed her how to do it correctly.
It's the Mid Canyon video.
Well, as said before, Pirate lost a lot of his audience. On his YouTube channel, this equated to losing over 570,000 subscribers since January 2025, where he used to sit at 2,660,000 subs. He now, as of this video, sits at 2,090,000.
He's about to
be
go
honest,
below
I can't
2
think
mil.
of another case where someone has lost more than 500,000 subscribers in 10 months. But he still sits at 2 million subscribers, which is impressive, but he is
Nobody really cares about sub numbers. It doesn't really matter or affect anything really, unless you're like super big and then you can like fool sponsors and stuff. All you care about is views. So that is the most important part. As far as I understand it, like he lost all of his views.
actively bleeding around 50,000 subscribers per month. And his viewership on his latest videos have seen a decrease as well, but to be honest, he also doesn't upload as much. On Twitch, where he streams semi-regularly, he lost around 200,000 followers, and his average viewers per stream went from the ballpark of 10,000 to 2,000, which is still good, and he's still in the top percentile of streamers, but admittedly...
Damn, that's crazy. I mean, having 2,000 people get you in the top 1%, Jesus, man, I mean, I need to start streaming.
It is quite the dip. Also, unfortunately, people do still show up in his comments and his Twitch streams to troll him, despite the majority of the internet forgetting about the situation, but he still does have somewhat of a platform. If we were to look on the bright side of this, he has more of a tight-knit community more than ever now, because there are people that still stuck around despite everything that happened and are still supporting Pirate, which...
And also you banned anyone who opposed you. I mean, that is the main factor here. You banned everyone and anyone that opposed you. All that's left are the people that mindlessly follow you like drones.
Is a small win for him. He still does his educational and somewhat uplifting shorts based on his experiences, which understandably people are a lot more skeptical after what happened.
I lived out of my car for about a year when I was much younger because I was a dumbass with my finances.
By the way, every question that he gets asked, and it's blatantly visible in the shorts, he has live experience of this. Oh, Pirate Software, I'm a recovering heroin addict. Got any
Oh my
tips?
god, dude.
Well, when I was younger, I also...
In regards to...
Dude, I don't like Quasar. I think it's giga cringe and he has as many bad takes as Pirate Software, but this was actually funny.
Stop killing games, which he was very much against. Once again, it reached over its signature goal, partially thanks to the drama that surrounded Pirate, and the movement changed its goal to verifying the authenticity of the signatures so that it could properly pass. Finding that 97% out of the 1,448,000 signatures were valid, meaning it did successfully pass and would need to be addressed in some capacity by the EU. More recently,
Great.
there is apparently a UK Parliament debate scheduled for November-Fed 2025, and in multiple other countries similar things are occurring, and related movements are being created in countries outside of Europe. So basically the petition passed and it is finally being discussed by governments. And Ross of Accused Farms, who was heavily pushing for this movement, is taking a much needed rest and talking about going back to his normal content, like his Freeman's Mind series, which he started 12 years ago. Going back to Piratesoftware, people were still questioning if he actually was the person he says he was, specifically YouTubers like Quintheus, who basically turned into more Pegasus for a moment when it...
Dude, that is some mega farming vulture type of channel. That is fantastic. You love to see it. Not even a single change in content in between, just full-blown clowning about Piratesoftware. That is fantastic. You love to see it. And the views are crazy too. Yeah, I mean, people were feeding, man. Piratesoftware actually fed more families than any billionaire on this earth, probably. That is admirable. It truly is. This is insane. Again, I'm saying...
came to pirate content. To be honest, he
Completely.
probably did take a page out of Pegasus's book. However, the main question was if Piratesoftware really was this great game.
You see, this is why you take small W's. This is why you take them. He collects them. That is good.
Dev that wasn't a Nepo baby and built himself up not on the back of his own father. Well, through Quintheus, a past Blizzard employee that worked with Pirate and also lived with
God.
him, heard about the situation.
Dude, this Quino guy is like a mega level hater, though. That is funny. I respect him so much for it, too. I mean, going out and actually finding people who worked with him to get information, that is really good.
And came out with their
Good journalism.
experience with him. She showed proof that she worked with Pirate, showing a Blizzard yearbook of sorts from 2013. And to be honest,
Okay.
she didn't have the best of things to say about Pirate. And just
Yeah.
keep in mind, she is recounting a lot of this from when it happened, 10 years ago.
You can see the trauma in her eyes.
She firstly claimed when he did work at Blizzard in her area, he was very charismatic and got along with people, but it was very difficult to get him to work.
Problem. Don't get me wrong. He's very charismatic. He is easy to get along with socially. However, he was very neglectful of actual work. He
So he
was
was
hard
lazy.
to rein in. He was hard to get to focus on anything important. Like, he wanted to do what he wanted to do. And it wasn't like he was a jerk about it. Like, I don't want to misconstrue that at all. I'm sure everybody has seen his streams. Like, he pulls off the personality. You know, like, he's nice to his coworkers.
And in one instance, he was given work and he just idled in the client and browsed Reddit.
And it's funny, you can actually see this with his game, Heartbound, right? I mean, it's unfinished for like, what, 8 years at this point? And even the gameplay, I mean, it's not that good. And also, just look at the state of the game. It lasts for how long? Like 3 hours? Something like that? That is crazy when you think Undertale exists, which is pretty much built on the same premise, but it was made by one guy, if I'm not mistaken, in less time, too. So you kind of start wondering what the hell is going on, and then you see him working on the game for like 5 minutes, and then just streaming and, you know, watching other people's videos and stuff, and that's pretty much it for the day.
He would just kind of create a character and idle in the client and read Reddit. That's literally what he did. He sat
Now
in
you
front of
know.
me, and I was assigning the tasks. So not only did I see the work he was not doing, I saw what he was doing instead.
There was even one point where he allegedly requested another monitor for his work, but just browsed Reddit on it.
He requested a third
Dude.
display because he claimed he needed it for his bots when he started doing some automation testing. He just wanted it to have the extra space for Reddit, YouTube.
And they wouldn't really correct him on his
Bruh.
behavior because nothing really would get done about it. No matter how many times they escalated it to upper management, allegedly because his father was someone higher up at Blizzard.
So I talked to my manager, and I talked to one of the department heads. Like, I talked to the manager over the project. And I was essentially told that no one is going to do anything because of who he is. And this has nothing to do with Joey Ray directly. Like, I want to make this very clear. I'm also friends with Joey Ray. Like, he is a mutual friend of friends. Okay, so like, I've had direct interactions. I know him well enough to say he would absolutely not do anything to help Jason.
And she also speaks about how most were afraid of doing things like writing him up or any disciplinary action because it could impact their careers in the future.
Here's how nepotism actually works, which Jason also doesn't understand. It does not look good on your future at Blizzard if you mess with an executive's son. Period. Everybody knows who Jason is. If you write him up, if you fire him for
Makes
misconduct or otherwise, people are going to know you did it. They're not going to know that anything was actually going on. They're just going to know you were the guy that fired Joey Ray's son. And your career is pretty much toast because everybody in the games industry knows each other too. He was allowed to do whatever he wanted to do because nobody would course correct him.
And she also shared they did a charity event for a children's hospital where they played League of Legends to raise money, and he freaked out at his team for losing.
Hours straight. Pirate just happened to participate in this. I was on his team for a league tournament, and he screamed at our team for apparently not gearing correctly to counter the other team. He was just...
To be fair, League does get the worst out of somebody. that this game had brought me so much rage at the time. Holy, I mean, hey, you know what? It is what it is.
Yelling across the floor at everybody.
Run it down,
charity
boys.
event, correct?
It was a children's charity event.
She also goes on to speak about
Well, that child shouldn't feed.
living with Pirate, because she had a spare room at her apartment and coincidentally Pirate needed to move out of his dad's house. So she offered that
Now they
spare
know.
room and it only lasted a week because of instances where he would be screaming at people on the game EVE Online, his cat destroyed her chair which she never got paid back for, and he wasn't the cleanest of people.
Oh yeah, this
it
is disgusting.
took days for him to start screaming at people on EVE overnight.
EVE Online. EVE Online.
Yes.
Okay.
The cat, that's totally non-destructive, straight up destroyed one of the chairs within the first week. And because it was patent leather, like the polyurethane stuff, he offered to tape it up for me, not replace it, and also
Nice,
tried
nice
to
fix.
make it out like the cat never did anything to the chair. All the dishes
The
everywhere,
gaslighting began.
like the pans, still food in them on the stove, shit everywhere, food, countertops, everything everywhere. Like, it was not disgusting sty, but it was very just a fucking mess.
And probably the most infamous part of the story is when she looked at the bathroom he was using and it was also a mess.
I just turned on the hall light and I peeked in there and the place was a fucking sty. He had never put up a shower curtain in the bathroom. There was like ashy stuff
Dude.
everywhere, like gray ash kind of looking spots everywhere, including like in the shower, on the floors, on the countertops. The toilet it had been a fucking week and I could not understand the state of things.
But the worst part was the mysterious liquid on the walls.
No.
He had cleaned nothing,
hell
so
no.
I had to clean everything by hand. There was like, I don't know what on the walls in his bedroom, and you're just gonna have to like take my word for this. I don't know if it was snot or something else just like wiped here and there on the walls, and more of the like random gray stuff, just spots.
The arrangement didn't
I have nothing to say about that, man. That is just revolting, straight up. I don't know what he cooked there, but it wasn't good.
last very long, and she told him to move out, of which he did, but this also didn't help Pirate's case at the time. People now assumed nepotism played heavily in his career, at least in the past, on top of now he wasn't the cleanest of people. But that's if you trust the account of the
Yeah, again, you should take these things with a grain of salt, always, because you can't really verify everything she said. Yes, she has verified that she worked with him, but you can't really tell. Also, people's recollection isn't that great sometimes, so she can remember things wrong, or maybe exaggerate a bit. I'm saying she did that. I'm an idiot, wait. I'm not saying that she did those things intentionally, but maybe she just remembered things not exactly the way they were. So always take these type of things with a grain of salt.
his previous co-worker. Pirate did somewhat respond to this, mainly addressing how people were apparently accusing him of not doing
cringe.
anything at Blizzard, so he
That was
showed his awards
cringe.
whilst working there. But at least one of those awards was actually mentioned in the interview, which was for the charity event which, despite his behaviour, he was still awarded. And the past co-worker also got one.
So they give us like these little cards whenever we do cool things at Blizzard. And this was related to the charity event that was like thanking me for playing nice with my coworkers, and I'm like, oh wow, he got one of these too.
Apart from that, he didn't respond to any of the other claims, like the mysterious liquid, but there was also one final situation going on at the same time, which was Pirate being accused of fraud involving Twitch's Hype Train feature, where viewers have to meet donation or subscription goals to get to the next level of...
What do you mean admit? He was caught. Like, they caught the Discord threads. Like, it was literally caught.
The Hype Train, and
He doesn't need to
Pirate
admit
beat that
anything, it
record at one
happened.
point on a stream in April 2024, of which the VOD has now been deleted, but he got to level
course.
106, beating all the previous records. However, on the same stream, Pirate accidentally shows his DMs with him and Kronos, his
Classic
head mod,
slip-up.
where they are discussing Kronos donating to keep the Hype Train going on an alt account and to donate in bits.
Guys, I have to say this. How can you be this stupid? How can you be this stupid? On the life of me, I would never understand it. Why would you have your Discord open on this thread? I'm not even mad that he did that. I'm just mad that he was so dumb he couldn't hide it. That is the most idiotic thing that actually made me lose my mind about this. Why the hell? Brother, if I ever make it out streaming, I'm buying a new PC that I do everything that is stream related on it. And I'm gonna keep a private PC for my private stuff, and that is it. That way, you can never get me, and you can never know anything. That is the best thing. Why in God's name would you leave that thread open like that on Discord? Literally just swap to a different page. That is wild.
So they could potentially get a return on that investment, of which he did.
Not that I'm saying I'm gonna do anything suspicious, by the way. It's just like me protecting myself. Of course.
Go through with it, and the donation came across as a friend of Kronos, not actually Kronos.
Bean with 50,000 bits said IRL friend of Kronos and excited that they are now free from corporate.
I know.
Love your stream and what you do for people here. There aren't many cool or supportive streamers left once they get big like this. Stay cool, bud, and tell Kronos that Ben sends their regards.
I'm sorry you had to know
Petavan
Kronos in real
45
life,
with
just like me.
500
Now, Kronos responded by saying the VOD of this happening was deleted because people who donated were getting harassed, and that's also why he donated on his alt account. The fallout of this was some saying pirates should be liable for litigation involving fraud, or at least banned on Twitch, because some interpreted...
I don't think he should be go to court or anything like that. That is just taking it a bit over the edge, but he should be banned. Like this was fraud. This is fraud 101. You cannot say that this is not. Clearly he cheated. He paid for his own mods to donate. It's stupid. Like, clearly it was fraud. He should have been banned for it. I don't know about permaban or anything, but he should have been at least complimentary banned for it.
The screenshot as him saying donate and I'll pay you back for the bits later. Pirate responded to this saying it was Kronos' money and he could do whatever he wants with it, and that Kronos was not reimbursed for this.
That's against TOS though? No, it is not against TOS. It is absolutely not against TOS to have...
Is it not against TOS? It definitely sounds like something that's against TOS, terms of service, by the way. And I mean, I'm not really knowledgeable about this type of things. I don't stream. But it sounds like something that should definitely be against
Somebody used their own money to buy...
But to be honest, at this point, so many people are doing everything against TOS, and they're managed to get away with it. You know what I'm talking about.
For the channel if they want to. That in no way was triggered by me, nor was he compensated for that or reimbursed for it.
Dude.
And that is basically where things were left.
You heard this guy worked at Blizzard? Oh man. Did you read that in a Reddit thread? Tell me about it in the unban request, chat hopper.
Is he gonna talk about the fact that he fakes his own voice and there is solid proof for it? Because I'm just gonna mention it and just throw it out in the open. Maybe we'll talk about it.
So that is the aftermath of what happened after the main controversies surrounding Piratesoftware, and all of this basically happened due to a game of World of Warcraft, and the refusal to admit fault at times. To be honest, if you look at it this way, Piratesoftware has a lot of balls. It may just be arrogance, but he has watched the internet and even his own community turn against him, to the point where he's lost a lot of his platform and influence. And despite all of this, he is still going and still to this day not admitting he was in the wrong. I'm sorry, but that's either peak delusion or honestly impressive. His major flaws were once again mainly not admitting when he was wrong, especially surrounding a certain movement, how he reacts to criticism, and allegedly lying about some of his credentials.
Yep.
However, at the start he did do some good as well. He inspired people to make games, educated them, and more recently annihilated any imposter syndrome most people were feeling at their IT job because of the recent drama. He's still going, and I think he will be going for a lot longer.
But the thing is that now, even if you're trying to like ignore it, like ignore the noise and keep going, now people will always look at you with a magnifying glass. You can never escape. Even the smallest thing you will do, people will analyze that, go back and watch your old VODs and try to like make sense of anything that you do and try to get a gotcha moment on you. And that just sucks. And this is just bad, you know? And, you know, with Pirate Software, they might actually find something too.
Once again, he does still have some people still supporting him despite everything that happened, and as I said in my previous video, I genuinely do hope he learns to admit fault down the road, or at least learn how to deal with criticism better. But for now, he's doing somewhat fine, and that's all I had to say, and bye-bye. So if you went...
Oh wait, that was it? Oh yeah, that just ended the video. Okay, that was something. Man, that was a good video. By the way, I'm gonna leave a link in the description so you guys can watch this video. Give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. This is a good video and I like this channel a lot. So let me just give me a moment to find something real quick. There you go. This is from his channel, by the way, and it has 11 million views.
Went back to the doctor. Doctor's like, hey, sometimes in your early 30s, your voice can change as a man, and it's effectively second puberty. This is what I used to sound like. That's what I used to look like to this 5 years ago. Wait for this. This is awful.
My hot dogs are freshly picked. I'm gonna have to peel it.
I'm
gonna have to peel my hot dog.
Yeah, that was it, dude.
Every good hot dog needs.
You know what this guy does on Reddit from this clip alone, by the way. So let me dissect it for you guys real quick. Basically, when he says, the doctor told me,
back to the doctor. Doctor's like, hey, sometimes in your early 30s, your voice can change as a man, and it's effectively second puberty.
That is 100% true. The thing that he neglects here is that it happens under specific condition, like sort of, I don't know if I need to call it a disease, but some sort of an actual problem. It can happen. It doesn't happen naturally. It does not. Your voice cords are fully developed by the time you're 30. And you can do, to change it, certain things. You can do vocal training, obviously. People do that. But it really depends on your biology. So if your voice is like super high pitched, you can't go to super deep. It's literally impossible. The fact that you try to convince anyone that you got through it somehow, it's actually laughable. And it's just clown behavior. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I have a high-pitched voice. I have so many comments telling me, hey man, I looked at your face and then I heard your voice and it doesn't match. I laugh at these comments. They're funny because it's true, right? I mean, people don't expect me to have this high-pitched voice. And it kind of is what it is. I'm not going to try to deepen it and make me, like, I don't know, sound cooler, whatever, dude. Who cares, right? A lot of people have high-pitched voice. I think that it is completely fine. Like, who cares? I'm not that insecure. But this guy actually go out and do try to make himself sound like an authoritarian figure. That is cringe to the maximum. Why in God's name would you use like these cringe filters? And also, if you watched his videos when he was on like TwitchCon and stuff like that, his voice was super high pitched at first. And then after he kind of got his brand going, he started to just, you know, speak like this whenever he went to an event or anything that he couldn't use filter on. So it's super cringe when people do that, and it just goes to show how insecure this guy truly is. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny. Wait, there's one more clip I want to show you of this.
Every good hot dog needs to be peeled.
Look at his face.
Every good hot dog needs to be peeled.
Dude, look at Quinn's face.
You see, now that I've peeled the hot dog, it's ready to eat.
Look, a hot dog is
That's right.
To be eaten by Thor.
It's ready to eat.
Oh, bro is shook. Well, anyway, I mean, oh, that is fantastic. Anyway, that is all for today's video. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed that and have a few laughs with me. I don't really do videos like this, but this video was so fun to make. It just, you know, I had to do it. I had to try. Obviously, that is all for today's video. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.